Hello all, welcome to Smart Classes. In today's class, we will basically discuss about the Gentleman's Agreement. What is Gentleman's Agreement? This is an agreement signed by the leaders of Andhra and Telangana during the formation of Andhra Pradesh. So this agreement basically safeguards the rights of the Telangana people. As Andhra people are taking Telangana into Andhra Pradesh, in order to safeguard the people of Telangana, this agreement was signed between the leaders of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Coincidentally, all the leaders who have been there and signed the agreement were belonging to the party of Congress. And there was a meeting on 29 February 1956 in Hyderabad guest house, which is present in Delhi, not in Hyderabad. So, in Delhi, there was a meeting between both the leaders. Four leaders from Andhra have come there, and four leaders from Telangana. Uh, People who have been there were Bechwada Gopal Reddy, who is the then Chief Minister of Andhra State, and then Neelam Sanjeev Reddy, who was the Deputy Chief Minister, and Alluri Satyanarayan Raju, and also Gautu Lachanna from Andhra State. And from Telangana, Chief Minister of Telangana Purgula Ramakrishna Rao and K.V. Rangareddy, and then J.V. Narsingh Rao, Marichanna Reddy. These were from Telangana. They have finally signed the agreement on 29th February 1956. Sorry, they had their meeting on 29th February 1956, and then they have signed their agreement on 19th July 1956. And this agreement was introduced in the parliament on 10th August 1956, and the name of this agreement was known as Note of Safeguards, as it safeguards the rights of the Telangana people. And after the signing of the agreement and after the passage of the agreement in the parliament, Andhra Pradesh state was formed on 1st November 1956. So now we'll see the important points of the agreement. The first and the main important point was administrative expenditure. As the two states were being combined, the administration is going to take place in the center, that is in Hyderabad, and the expenditure should be divided into 2:1 ratio between Andhra and Telangana people. And also, seats in Telangana institutions, that is, educational institutions, were given only to Telangana students. And the other area, one third must be reserved for the Telangana students, as Telangana students are not very well educated as Andhra people. And future employment on the basis of population. So, for these 5 years, this should happen, and after these 5 years, the future employment should be definitely depend on the population of the people in certain areas, that is Telangana, Andhra, and Rayalaseema. And Urdu must be continued for 5 more years in the administration and judiciary, as Telangana people are not well versed with the language of Telugu. Urdu must be continued till the Telangana people learn Telugu and they started working with the Telugu documents. And the knowledge of Telugu should not be a condition for the employment. These are the main important points which were signed by the leaders of leaders during the gentleman's agreement. So, importantly, there were 14 issues in the agreement, out of which 8 are the most important things. The first one is Telangana surplus budget should be used for the development of Telangana. Telangana's surplus budget was about 4 crores, and Andhra was in a deficit of about 2 crores. So, this surplus budget should not be transferred to the deficit of Andhra, but it should be used only for the development of the Telangana region or Telangana projects or for the Telangana people. And alcohol, the tax earned in Telangana by alcohol should be given to the should be used for the welfare of Telangana people, and the alcohol like taxes given by Andhra should be used for the Andhra people. And the educational facilities, as I already mentioned you that all the educational institutions in Telangana will take only Telangana students. But the other areas, one third will be reserved for Telangana students, and the other can be taken by anyone. Coming to the employment opportunity. So, the government jobs in the Telangana region should go to the Telangana people until and unless no Telangana people is available for that job. And as we have already studied about the Mulki rules, only person who have settled in Hyderabad at least for 12 years will be considered as Mulki, and he can take the jobs which are meant for the locals. But this has been this has been trespassed by giving the illegal certificates to the non-Mulkis, saying that they have been living in Telangana for 12 years. So this had led to the later struggles. And then the upliftment of the Urdu languages. As I mentioned you that Urdu language will be continued for the next 5 years, and Urdu schools will also continue to exist. Coming to the land revenue, the sale or buy of agricultural lands should be taking place with the permission of the TRC, Telangana Regional Council. Without the permission of the Telangana Regional Council, the sale or buying of the land should not take place. And coming to the MLAs, at least one of the minister appointed must be a Muslim. And if the CM is a Telangana person, then deputy CM must be Andhra. And mm, if the CM is Andhra person, deputy CM must be Telangana. And also, out of all the MLAs, 2 out of 5 of the important ministries must be given to the Telangana people. Coming to the Hyderabad State Congress. Hyderabad State Congress should continue to exist, but it was dissolved in 1962, which led to the 1969 struggle. Coming to the, yeah, as we have already discussed, there was a point of MLAs. We'll discuss that in detail in the next slide. Coming to the composition of the ministers, 60% of the ministers must be Andhra, and 40% of the ministers must be of Telangana. CM or deputy CM, as I told you, if CM is Telangana, deputy must be Andhra, if this is this. And 2 out of 5 important ministries must be given to Telangana ministers. And these 5 are home, finance, revenue, planning and development, commerce and industries. And separate PCC for Telangana, which was being dissolved in 1962. Coming to the TRC, Telangana Regional Council. These are different chairmen and vice chairmen appointed for the TRC. Initially, it was K. Achyuta Reddy from 1958 to 62, and Nasuma Begum, a Muslim lady, was given the opportunity to become the vice chairman. Hayagrevachari from 62 to 67, Ranga Reddy as vice chairman. Chokkara, who was there during the 1969 struggle, and he plays a very important role in the struggle because he's also an MLA. He gives a speech in the parliament which moves people of Telangana. So he plays an important role in the 1969 struggle. We'll discuss it when we are studying about the 1969 struggle. And then the vice chairman was Kodati Rajamalu. He has become the chairman, and the vice chairman when he was the chairman was Syed Rahmud Ali. So, what is TRC? What are the responsibilities of TRC? TRC basically monitors the welfare measures of Telangana and its overall development. Like, because Andhra people are ruling, they can do lot of injustice to the Telangana people. The major duty of this TRC is to avoid this injustice and see to it that justice is done to Telangana people and the welfare of Telangana people must take place. And coming to the members of the TRC, there will be 20 members of the TRC, out of which 9 will be MLAs who are elected from the 9 districts of Telangana, and then 6 state council members and 5 elected by Telangana Assembly. And the areas which will be looked after by TRC is planning, irrigation, agricultural plants, industrialization, employment, public health and sanitation, and education. After the establishment of TRC, there was a formation of Andhra Pradesh. Initially, there was a struggle with the name. Telangana people suggested that the name should be Andhra Telangana, but Andhra people wanted the name to be Andhra Pradesh. But finally, the Andhra Pradesh was decided as the name of the state. And the first chief minister was Neelam Sanjeev Reddy. On the first day itself, they violated the gentleman's agreement by not appointing the deputy chief minister from Telangana. And the speaker was Ayadevara Kaleshwar Rao, deputy speaker Subbarao. Opposition leader was Uchalapalli Sundarayya. So this was the government which was formed in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Violation of the safeguards. Now we have studied about the gentleman's agreement, then the formation of state, and then now we'll study how did the Andhra people violate the safeguards signed in the gentleman's agreement from the day one. They never followed the gentleman's agreement. Gentleman's agreement was signed, but no one has ever followed it. So deputy CM was not given to Telangana initially. The first CM of Telangana was appointed in 1971. That is from 1956 to 1971. There was no CM from Telangana. And the surplus finances which were present in Telangana were sent to Andhra. Jobs were taken by Andhra people by creating illegal certificates. And then regional council which was to be formed was not formed. Instead, regional committees were formed. Change of the name of the state. As I already told you, Telangana, Andhra was to be the name of the state, but they have named it as Andhra Pradesh. Deputy Minister as the chairman of the regional committee. There is no deputy chief minister, so there's no question of appointing deputy chief minister as the chairman of the regional committee. Violation of rule that all MLAs can be members of TRC. They have initially said that all MLAs can be members of TRC, but there was an announcement made by the Home Minister in the Parliament that CM and Speaker cannot be members of TRC. This is a straight violation of gentleman's agreement. And the issue of water resources. There were many dams and barrages built by the Britishers in Andhra state, but Telangana was not so much developed. There were few projects started by Burugula before the formation of Andhra Pradesh, but those were also neglected after the formation of Telangana. So, illegal local certificates were given to Andhra people. Telangana Congress dissolved in 1962. According to agreement, there will be Telangana Congress and Andhra Congress separately, but it was dissolved in 1962. Increase in fees of Telangana universities, especially Usmania University, and the Telangana people could not afford studying in the university because of its high cost. So all these factors led to the 1969 Telangana movement. So in the next class, we will read about the causes for the 1969 Telangana movement, and also we will discuss in detail what has led to the Telangana movement. Thank you so much for listening. See you in the next class.